In
a moment, our correspondent Shai Ben-ari is standing by for us outside of the Ministry of Defense in Tel Aviv. Shai, thanks for being with us here now. This alleged strike in Syria certainly is added to the narrative this evening. Outside of the Ministry of Defense now, what are you hearing? What can you tell us about this?
Yes, David. Well, so far, of course, Israel maintaining silence on these attacks being reported in Syrian territory. This is perhaps unsurprising. We know that there, over the past few years, have been a range of attacks which have been linked to Israel inside Syrian territory. Just last February, for example, against another Hezbollah convoy, apparently, as well as in 2013 incidents in January and May, in September as well, also linked with strikes against Hezbollah. That's not even counting the reprisals against shells following in the Golan, which Israel also has a policy of reacting against. These are, we're talking about, of course, airstrikes in Syrian territory against Hezbollah targets that Israel has not bothered to confirm or deny. This is unsurprising, perhaps, but Netanyahu, the prime minister, has in the past said and been very clear on the fact that Israel would not allow any sort of advanced weaponry to leak over the border from Syria into Lebanon, into the hands of Hezbollah. That has been a very sort of vague but very clear statement, at the same time issued on a number of occasions by the Israeli prime minister. It could be understood in the context of this latest incident as well, of course.
Well, what about the political dimensions of this strike, Shai? What do you think about that?
Yes, well, at the risk of sounding perhaps a bit cynical, there are, as it stands, perhaps political points to be gained from engaging in this sort of action at this particular period in Israel. We are, of course, entering an election period, and we do know that the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, is interested in projecting a very hawkish image of himself at the moment, both within the Likud, his own party, and considering his rivals in the right wing, namely Naftali Bennett, the head of the Jewish Home Party, who has been rising in the polls at the expense of the Likud party. So Netanyahu is eager, of course, to present himself as the leader of the right wing, and you could, of course, read that in the context of this strike being launched in Syria, reportedly by Israel. To name a few examples in the past, the last elections occurred slightly after Operation Pillar of Defense, as well as the elections in 2009, which happened after Operation Cast Lead. So it wouldn't be exactly out of the realm of possibility to suggest a military, let's say, a more cynical motive, as well as a pragmatic one for this latest strike.
Well, Shai Ben-ari in Tel Aviv, thank you for that. Well, as we mentioned, tomorrow the